Hello there and welcome. My name is Sasha Rees and I'm a coach and motivational speaker for the pet care industry out of 25 years of experience. Also author of the Grooming Code and the Grooming Code Manifesto that are actually changing the educational world in our beautiful industry. Today, at this particular blog post, I will speak you about a very common question of my students: how to set a pattern for the continental trim of the poodle. I will try to explain you that in a couple of very simple, useful tips that you will be able to implement, so your pattern of the continental trim will be set at once. The first thing you need to know is actually deep back in the history of the trim itself. And you need to understand first why the dog wear this kind of trim. Actually, while the poodle was a hunting breed, it was a trim that the hunters were shaping their dog into because to protect them from one part, from the freezing, because they were hunting in the cold water, and from the other part, they were shaving some part of the dog's body in order to help them swim. First trim that the poodle was ever shaped in was the English saddle trim, and that you will be able to watch in some of my upcoming video posts at my blog. But today I'll speak about continental trim that actually evolved out of English saddle trim. What is important to know? First, that the jacket is covering the rib cage, so the lungs and the heart will be protected from freezing into the cold water while the dog is swimming. Next, what should be also protected are the joints on the legs. So we have pompons around 4 legs. And also, while they said it's still too much cold when the English saddle trim is in question, so we want to shape the dog as much as possible, but also very important part of the dog's body that should be protected on top were the kidneys. So we get those 2 rosettes what are actually covering the kidneys, because the kidneys are very close to skin, so in cold water they are very easily be damaged, probably is the right word to use. Okay, so now we have guidelines. We have a jacket that should cover the rib cage. We have a rosettes that should cover the kidneys. But how to know actually where are the kidneys and where is actually position of the rib cage? So in order to that, the previous requested knowledge you need to have is actually the biomechanical model of the dog and the postulates one that I will just explain you in a couple of drawings so you will be able to understand what I'm speaking about. So, the easiest way to understand this, the biomechanical model of the dog, and what we need to use in order to understand the continental trim is actually the top line. The top line is a line actually that connects highest point of the wither with the base of the tail. That is the top line. And the top line is made out of 3 parts: back, loin, and sacral part of the croup. So, now we know that from highest point of the wither till the last rib is actually the part of the top line called back. But also it's very important, prerequisite knowledge on that is that the back of the dog is actually beginning with the highest point of wither, actually with a connection of top line and neck, and ends up with the last rib. So the last rib. Actually, we are just getting a conclusion where the rib cage ends. and where we want to have our lion set up. Because if we put a lion covering the rib cage, actually the back of the dog, we will do the right thing. Next thing is to protect the kidneys. Where are the kidneys? If you look at the drawing, actually, if you see this picture what I'm showing you at the moment, so you see that the kidneys are very close connected to the last rib. So actually, the rosettes of the dog should be very close to the point of the back and covering actually entire loin. Now the question is, how do we know where to place a lion, so the big lion, if we have a wrong reference of where is last rib? Is that perfect or it's not perfect? Okay? Usually it's not perfect because the top line and the biomechanical model of the top line actually it's not correct. Why? Excellent top line is made out of 50% of the back and each 25% of the loin and 25% of the sacral part of the croup. So there we got actually answer where to set the lion, where to put the rosettes. You should end your lion not at the last rib, because probably the last rib usually doesn't stay on the right position. You should end up your lion at 50% of your top line, no matter where actually, naturally, your last rib sits. How to implement that in the grooming? What we need is measure tape. So what we need is actually a measure tape. This is how you will find the right position where to end your lion. Okay, let's make it. Let's try to find it. So, we have a nice dog, very, like this one here. That's actually, I'll show you now everything what I was explaining you in a drawing. So, okay, highest point of the wither and the base of the tail, everything in between is top line here, okay? And now I want to set the pattern for the lion. If I would follow the natural flow of the ribs, I would having lion set up at this position here, because his last rib is actually here. But that's not correct. Or is it correct? How I will check that? With a measure tape. Can you hold it? Anyone? Thank you. So, put the dog to stand in the right position. Like that. Okay. Pick up the tail. Place the tail. Stay right. Okay. Put the tail at the highest point of the wither. Measure how long is the top line of the dog till the base of the tail. It's 46 centimeters. Divide it in half. And actually, 23 will be something where you will actually place your lion until. That is the first thing actually what you need to do when you want to set up your patterns for the Continental trim. And I'll do that right now again. Where is the clipper? Can you give me like number 4 theme? Put it on that. So once again, we know that 46 is something what is his top line. And we need a lion ending up at 23. Okay, so 23, I find where is the 23. So I use 40 blade. And my dog is very happy. Okay, I use 40 blade. have someone just hold the dog in front, please? Anyone? You can just hold him. No, the dog. Okay, 23. Eyes on the reader. 23 is here. You don't need any more. You take a comb. You take everything before 23 because you want lion to end up at 23. Very important is that you want to set up your. Also, will you put it on 23? No, because you want a couple of centimeters or a piece of inch in order to get transition area. So you will not cut it at 23, you cut it in at 24, and then you adjust it after you're done. Okay? So what we do first is that you just place your little mark actually where you want your lion to start. Then you take your scissors and you shape entire lion around. So you cut the dog in half. Okay? What we know next, so this is where I want my lion to be. Okay. How I know this? Because this is a middle of the top line. And so what I know next is actually that I want to have my rosettes covering the kidneys, and I know that the kidneys are very close to the rib cage, correct? So I place my rosettes high in connection one to the other because kidneys stay that way. In a real nature, they are actually standing a little bit unbalanced, so they are not connected one to the other, or they are but they are staying up and down, not so much. But since we want to have a symmetry between them, we will keep them at the same level. But how now to know where to make the pattern for the rosettes? Okay, so we have now that first line, what is actually the beginning of the lion. What I want to do is to create, now I'm missing two lines more. One is just in between two of them, so that line will be just in between two. So I'm going and I'm cutting just spine part, so I divide, so I get my other dimension. So I'm missing two more. This is first one, this is second one. I need two more, so I need this one and this one. Where to find them? Okay? So one is very important, is because I want this to be far away from the tail set. Okay? So my tail doesn't end up creating a big mess here. Okay? So I'll take everything away from tail. Okay, his tail is very highly set. Okay, but what I need now is actually to go out from the area of sacrum as closest to the loin as possible. Okay, so now I get my other dimension of the rosette, and where to find now the third one, like 1, 2, 3, and how deep it should go. Okay, what I want to see grooming the dog actually is a balance line, and if you know the points of the biomechanic, it says there's a very important line that holds dog's body in balance is actually a vertical line that connects point of shoulder with the point of rump. I want that piece exposed. So actually my marking point is a point of rump, and I'm just holding like that, And I'm looking straight towards part of the stomach. Was that clear? So once again, how I get my rosette? My rosette is actually made out of 4 balance points. And all of this is coming as a pre-requested knowledge we have from biomechanical model of the dog. And this you can have a lot of theories on how to set and how to make it and how you want and where you want them. But not less, just knowing a trim from the history point of view, connected it with knowledge from the biomechanical model, you exactly get in the right place of everything. So you have middle of the top line for the last line. You have a quarter of the top line for the rosette. And you have quarter of the top line left for not making a mess with the rosette. The most common mistakes that are actually happening when these patterns are created are that the separation in between lion and the rosette is too wide, so it creates a not homogeneous compact body but very long, and you have a long story going on there, okay? Or the lion is too far backward, so the rosettes are coming into the sacrum, so the tail and the rosettes create a mess. Okay? So what we want is a compact structure. We want to put the dog together as much as possible. Half of the top line for the lion. Loin, actually the right position of the kidneys for the rosettes. The other part. And the free part of the dog's body to exaggerate actually the angulation of the croup left free. And now if you want actually to shape it like completely, let's see what's left. And here, kind of always very big problem is how to set and where to find the all 3D dimension for the rosettes. You have that, like you have a spine. So spine divides 2 rosettes and it goes between them. So it's a spine, okay? So you're going between 2 rosettes and you create that line what will separate them. Then you have the other one is actually the end of the croup, end of the loin actually. So you have this, like, I don't know how you look, how call these ones? Tubercoxy, is that ones? Yeah, but I don't know how you, which, so they are, on Latin we call them the tubercoxy, but I don't know how you would call them, what's it called? So, and you have that part what is actually can give you a little guideline, but if you either don't know where to go, like the wideness of the rosette should be 25% of the top line because it should cover the part of the loin, okay? And you want to present the loin as strongest as possible. So because of that, you will round this little rosette into the round shape, so it's take attention to it. Because by knowing that the compactness of the body is delivered by the strongness and shortness of the loin, then you will completely have control on this trim. The rest is just a practice. But you can't practice if you don't have a theory guidelines according to this. Now, there is no anymore 2 fingers from here, 3 fingers from there. It's a middle of something, and you have exactly out of what? Top line, lion, croup, actually loin and croup, lion on top of the back, rosettes on top of the loin, sacral part of the croup, free of coat. Done. So now, get to the little practice. I would like to hear your comments on this kind of explanation, and do not be shy asking any topic you would like me to post a video on my blog that I will keep updated once a week, and always a new post coming Wednesday. Thank you for watching and see you next video.